Hi, it's Tyrone here. This is a little bit different than the usual videos I bring. This is a test on Forex Tester 2, following exactly the same analysis that I've been going over on the long-term trading. But I'm going to use a daily chart and a 60 or 15 or whatever small time frame I need. And I'm going to apply the principles of supply and demand, that are the levels that are created during London and the New York session, and GMT that is, and also the patterns that are created on the higher time frame, which will be that daily. So I'm not going to look at anything high. I don't want any outside influence. I don't care where I am on the monthly chart, a quarterly chart or weekly chart. All I need to know is, have I got an opportunity on that daily chart, and have I got an entry on the smaller time frame levels on the 60-minute. And then I'm going to look at the risk reward and so forth. I'm going to have to take a smaller reward to risk ratio for the fact that I'm not long-term trading, and you've got to incorporate the spread and so forth, so your reward to risk ratio is going to be lower. So I'm going to try and be a little bit more disciplined on the certain opportunities that are presented, so I don't take too many trades. So I'm going to start a test now on Forex Tester 2. Let's define a date to start. I'm going to start randomly, something like 2006, give us enough data. 1st of January 2006. This is completely off the cuff. In fact, I might change the style, the way the windows are, because we don't need that much data from left to right. It's just really the recent few weeks. So let me just tile these like that. This is better. I think this is giving me enough data. If I need any more, I can just enlarge the chart. I can reduce them candlesticks if I need to look back at levels and so forth. So this is the daily. What I'm looking for now is the pattern, just very simple patterns, you know, overextension, lower lows, trend lines. For instance, we've got a trend line here that's been broken. Just trying to see what's going on now. We've got this here, and then I'm going to look for an opportunity, so I might have to wait weeks, days, even months, we don't know, but I'm just going to go through daily until I see something that I think is worth trading. And I'm just going to look at the potential of this pattern here, and now I'm going to do this because we could have a potential. Hold on a moment. Why is it not letting me bring it up? Right, hold on a moment, let's try this. Draw a different kind of a line. I'm duplicating it, but for some reason it wanted me to keep it at the same spot. So I'm looking at this kind of channel. So potentially there is a shorting opportunity, in my opinion, around this kind of area. I'm just going to make that a little bit darker. So now I'm going to be watching on my lower time frame. Let's just see what level I've got created at the moment. What time this is. Nothing there. This is round about 6 o'clock in the evening UK time. So there's nothing there for me to try and short. Very scrappy at the moment. It has, looking at the pattern on a 60-minute, it has kind of stalled here. If this would have been a nice level, I would have put a short in up here by now, based on this pattern of stalling. But let's just see what happens as the night progresses. Now we're coming to pretty much the London, I believe, session, and New York. Yep, from here, and New York has taken it up. Now when I'm going to take a trade, if I was again, even if I'm long-term trading, if I'm going to take a trade, I want to be in that trade before the New York session expires, which roughly in the UK is 1500, 14 to 1500. If I'm not in a trade, I would ignore it then and wait for the next day. I'm not saying you can't trade outside of that, it's just these are the rules I've got, so I stick to particular moves that I like to reach my targets in the shortest space of time. Now what we've got is a strong impulse move. They're still buying at the London and the New York, and we've got a little bit of a level created here, but looking at the pattern, and this level's quite high compared to this pattern, I wouldn't be a bit surprised if price just came right through that level. The overall picture, we're kind of in the middle from this high to low. We'll get rid of this trend line now, but I'm still looking for shorts. Let's just see what happens on the 60-minute. We're now outside of that trading time zone, in my opinion. We're back into the evening. And I'm just going to look at what has been happening back here at these times. This was the New York session coming in. No strong move though until much early hours of the morning here. Again, there's nothing to tell me to take a short, even though it's working. There's nothing there to tell me on that lower time frame. And like I said, there's that level. It's been eaten up straight away, straight through that level. Got to keep checking these times out. This is the London / New York coming down. Again, nothing for me to take a trade from. This is perfect time to try and short if there was a level to the left, but there was nothing there. I expect this to push higher now if it does. Oh, here we go. Nice strong drop. Let's have a look what time this was. Oh, this is a beautiful level right round the London session here. So I'm just going to map this off because there's a strong move. I wouldn't be looking necessarily to short there when it comes up there again because of the pattern. I need to be higher. See this pattern? This move has already happened. It comes back up. There's a good chance that if we was in it looking for a target down here, it's not going to reach that target. It's going to push higher. So it should continue lower already. I'm not going to trade anything now until we've got a bit of a rally, a kind of a base going on here, so we could have a strong rally out of this area. So if anything, I'm starting to lean on longs, and I'll show you why. Because we've got this kind of whole rally, base rally, but we've got this little boxy area here we're just breaking out of. If I was to do a measured move, we're looking at something like this with a target up in this region. So if price comes back down to these lows down here, I might be looking for a long opportunity. Let me just see what we've got. This is good. This is round the New York session, and so is this on the low. Very wicky, but they're both New York based base levels, which is a green tick in the box for me. Level on top of a level. Let's see if price wants to get back down there though, because I only trade at the extremes, and that box is more like this, which is a range. Just want to see what time it is. This is quite long-winded, but this is important because I'm looking at the time of all these levels. What time is it now? It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Now it's coming into 9 o'clock. I want to see if we can get down into these lower levels here by 1500. So at 9 o'clock, 10, here we go, 11, 12, 1, 2. Now this is it. This is pretty much it. If we break from here, it's 2 o'clock now. That's 1400, I believe. Well, it's 1500. I should be in the trade by now. So this level, this wick into it, could actually be a valid entry, but I wouldn't have had a set and forget there for the fact that I like the extremes, which we have my set and forget, and I look for confirmation. Now we've hit it and bounced out. So that is sorry, that was in the final moments of that hour that I'm allowed to trade, and I would have, there's a 23 pip risk, and I'm looking at 2350 coming right the way up. So I'm going to just buy this right here. I'm just going to buy it, you know, just follow the rules. New market order, put my stop in below the low of this level now, because this is a confirmation trade, 28. So I'm looking about 38 pips, and I'm going to put my profit, I'll buy that for the moment, my profit I'm going to put up in the regions of 2,300. That's what I should do. One moment, I'm going to adjust this like this so I can get it all. In fact, I'll just click on this daily chart and I can modify the profit easier. Let's just make sure I get it. So I want the 2,300. Now you can see my risk to my reward, and it's approximately 43 pips to make 240. So, you know, if I was in this, I'll be in it now. It's within that time zone. I'm just going to let it go now. Whether it stops me out or works. Unless I can get a nice trend structure. In fact, I'll click onto the day now, whatever wants to happen. And there we go, reach the target. So there's a winner. Click the days, we've had it, had entry. Based on my confirmation, we come all the way back down. We've had it, this is my confirmation, come all the way back down again, 8 o'clock London time, but it still worked at very strong levels. Now I'm quite lucky to have a winner straight off the bat, and all I've got is just so you know 50 0.50 lot size. Okay, it doesn't really matter, I'm just going to keep it the same, just want to show you the win-loss ratios. Now I'm going to look for another chart pattern. Now we've got a bit of an overextension here, and what I mean by that is we've broken out of that pattern, we've not come all the way down here. Nothing for me to really do except wait for a new pattern to evolve. Potential range now, we've taken this level out here, this could potentially range. We're reaching a trend line where there's potential to go long, looking at the pattern, and it could come all the way back up at least to this area here, and that could be creating like what you call a head and shoulders if it's going to reverse, or it could continue higher. So let me look again on the 60 minute what's going on. In fact, if I enlarge the 60 minute and look over here, see what levels we got. This is not a good level. This little level here is around about 1600, but down here this is a beautiful level, strong move away, and it's the London and New York session. But if it's not in the right location on that daily, it's no good. Okay, the daily is the filter, so it could, let's just see how many pips, wick down from this area into this level at 1885, and let's just have a look on the daily where that would be. Round about this area, and to me that is, unless that move happens very very quickly, and I mean early, you know, before really before the New York session, I won't be interested in trading that. So I'm going to put that in here, 1300, that New York session. If price reaches, in fact let's just come to 1400 here, the New York session in this area, before this line, I'll be interested in buying. This is a strong move down. If there isn't, now we're outside of my trading. I don't care if it reaches that level, I'm not interested. Not on this day. The next day is going to start that I may be interested. We'll start round about here and finish here. There's my next area of opportunity. I'm just going to enlarge that. So I hope you understand what I mean there. This is between, this is the London and the New York session. If it reaches that level in that time zone with a strong move down, which it hasn't, we're starting to push for it outside of that time zone, I'm no longer interested. What we've got is a potential drop base and now a drop out of this, and I'm going to measure that, and I'm going to measure that from this nearest basing area to here, and I'm going to do this because this is the opportunity that's presenting itself at a trend line break, that box. I'm just going to enlarge it across. It's not a level, it's a box, like the Pandora's box. So now I'll be looking for shorts in that region here, the 2020. In fact, I'll put the yellow line on here. Around about this area, and I want to see what that level is. This level's no good. It's the London session's not quite come in. Just look at the level below. This is a nice little level right here. So all I'm doing is just using a mechanical way of filtering out the levels. So the extreme level's no good. This is the level for me. Set and forget, so I'll be careful because it could reach this 2020, which is that wick, that green wick, and then drop. So I'll leave that on. Let's just move across to the next day so I can start to look for opportunities from there. 8 o'clock. So in between these two white lines is the London and then the New York sort of finish. And I'm looking for a shorting opportunity. It's already reached that level, but not a set and forget there. If it comes back into that level, there it is, and it wants to leave that level now. I want it to really push a little bit higher like this. That to me is a trading opportunity to short right there, but I need to look at the risk now, because on that close I'm looking at 50 odd pip risk to reach this target down here, 1865. So let me just have a look if the risk reward is there. So I'm looking at about 50 pip risks to reach 1865, around 100 pips. It's not really worth 100 pips to risk 50 pips. But if it comes back up again, let's have a look. If it comes back up in that area, I might have taken it. No, it's not really come up into that level. Let's move across to the next day here. We could still come back up within that time. There's a nice spike through, but I mean my rules have avoided me taking that anyway, the risk. See if it comes back up in there. We're right into that. In fact, we've just taken that level out. Now that could be a wick. It could be a wick on this daily and a strong move back down. And what I would do now is I'd have a stop order right below this level. A sell stop like this, 0.5 lot size. My stop above here will be about 40 pips. In fact, that's a bit too much. I'm going to put my stop there and reduce my entry inside that level. 1, 2, 3. And there'll be a nice 3-to-1 trade if I come down to the 1860. We'll put 1850 there. So there we go. If we do come back down, like now, we've entered a sell within that time limit, right on that 1500. There's the move. And let's see if we can reach my target. You could manage it aggressively above that if you want. I'm not going to do it. I'm quite happy to take the target or take the loss. Well, let's see what happens. Just moving it quick. Look at that bouncing. Just letting it play out. I should have really, if you was watching this, I mean, when it comes down like this, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to come back. If you've been down and missed, I remember I took it 10 pips further, 1850. It didn't actually close it out, but if I'd come down again like this, I'd have probably been managing it very aggressively. I'd have got my stop. Let's edit that. And I would have been managing it quite aggressively now. I think looks like it's not going to work. And then would have got stopped out, something like that. Okay, that's just me being honest the way I would have done it. But let's go back, because I never did do that. I just want to see what happens. I'll let that play out now. It did reach a target anyway. Okay, it reached the target by just stepping away and letting it play out for that measured move. Reached the target, so there was more pips. So on the account history, I mean, this is rather lucky to start off with 2 winners. It just really is very, very lucky. Let's come back and let me just clean this up a little bit now. This time frame, templates, clean green, there we go, and we'll put it back to a daily. And now I'm going to look for the next kind of opportunity. Now this is a bit steep to draw a trend line, so I'm not going to use a trend line for a pullback to continue. I'm just going to look for some pattern. In fact, what we might look for, if anything, is a break of that particular. No, it's too steep. It's too steep. It's far too steep. What we might have happening here is a potential large range. Maybe. Within that daily, oh, we've got a bit of an uptrend now. But watch the top of that range. The reason I've got that uptrend in there, because that will also be a target area, that trend line, if we was to try and short anywhere. With that, what I could have done, I never did do this, but I could have done was this. And looking for an opportunity here. It never would have happened by the looks of it anyway, but there was again another one to look for a reversal. I can't see too much. Oops, I do apologise. Pushed the wrong button on the keyboard there. Reaching that height, I'm going to look in this area for a potential shorting opportunity, for the fact it's overextended, it's after a period of rallying, and we've got room down to this kind of area. So let's just watch that 60-minute. We're pushing up to the extreme. Let's see what the times are now. 8 o'clock in the morning. My opportunity time is to about 3 in the afternoon. You could, just based on this level, reaching at 8 o'clock, short this right here, stop above, going for a target somewhere in the region 2020 down here, 280 pips. I'm just going to do that. Market order, put my profit down here, put my stop above, so it's 35 pips, so 200 pip risk, 35 pip risk for 200 pip move, and let's just see what happens. I think this stuff is too good to give away really, but I'm looking at maybe once I get my taxi company running extremely well in the future, trading daily like this. And let's just see if it reaches. Now we've moved. I mean, this is aggressive move, so I've got to pretty much leave it. It's very difficult to manage this based on that. I mean, this is either going to come back and stop me out, or I'm going to create a big drop now. Now we can start to manage it. We've got this trend line like this, so now I can manage it because we made a lower low here, by the way, 130 odd pips. There you go, 10 pips above there. So I've already locked in 130 pips, but hopefully it will reach that target because we've got plenty of room to that lower trend line. This is a bit overextended. If you wanted to do this, we're getting close to it, but I've got this in place. I really want to try for that lower target. Oh, it came up, stopped me out. By the way, I've clicked on the daily, it skipped a load very quickly. It's still a winner though. There's 3 winners. A little bit uncanny, and that's just looking for the patterns on the daily, remember, not looking at any higher time frame. I'm using the same logic that I'm using if this was a monthly chart and this was a daily and so forth, and then a 60 for the levels. That's it. That's all I've got time for actually, because I actually got to go to work. I don't get a lot of time nowadays, but there we go. There's Forex Tested 2, and how I would trade the daily time frame if I want to trade for swing trading once a week, maybe a couple of times a week. You know, you're always looking for them opportunities. Again, I try to get into trades normally before 1500, or no, as a rule definitely before 1500, and also early in the week. You know, just generally the moves tend to happen Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Make a rule not trading on the Friday. You know, but any time from the beginning of the week to about Thursday, you know, you can maybe look for some opportunities. And that's pretty much it, guys. This is a little bit too good to be true. I haven't had no losses. I'd rather have about 3 or 4 string of losses and then show you the winners that outweigh the losses, because although these winners are 1200, 600, 500, the losses would only have been around about 120, 150, you know, 200 maybe, because we're 0.5 lot size. So if I was using 50 pips, then I was looking at about $150. I mean, here we were hitting entry 2060 to 300, so we're looking at 250 pips here, and it's given us 1200. That's almost 5 times more. So we're looking at, yeah, 50. So we're looking at about $250 risk. About $250 risk if we do 5 times this lot size. So we're looking at about $250 risk to make this kind of money. And unfortunately, I really wanted to show losses. This looks too good to be true, so don't think this is a magical system. It doesn't work like that. It's all down to technical analysis skills. You do need to look at that, and I do have plenty of losses. You only have to look at my higher time frame account. That's it, guys. Hope that's interesting and gives you something to look at and some rules to maybe build your own strategy. Take care, safe trading, and I'll make another video next week.